What is up? What is up? What is up? Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Reds View. Of course, I am your gracious host, Jay Red. And hopefully everybody has been having a good week so far, productive week as far as that goes. But then again, I know for us in the hip hop community, this hasn't been a good week as of today, as of late last night, early this morning. Um, but y'all come on in, come on in. Shout out to everybody for um whoever is subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/ResView. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. Shout out to everybody that is watching on Twitter. Everybody come on in. Let everybody know that I am live and we have to address something. We have to address uh the state of rap music, the state of the culture, the state of gun violence. We have some stuff to talk about with the passing of Takeoff. That's right, man. For those who have been under a rock, which I don't see how because this has been everywhere, but the rapper Takeoff, one third of the Migos, big time group from Atlanta, got killed. Got killed, got shot in the head or the neck. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but very unfortunate that we lost a talented artist like Takeoff. Man, this has been on my mind all day. I really couldn't even focus on my day. I just been focused on how I was going to approach this video because I knew I was going to talk about it. I like to sit back for stuff like this and iron out the details and see what actually did happen first before I actually try to speak on it because I think that that's fair. Now, details are still scarce and still rolling out. I found out early this morning, like around 6 in the morning. I saw a post on Facebook from Black No Chaser, I think, and those were the same news outlet that reported, I think they're black owned, and they reported the Kevin Samuels passing. And we didn't believe it at first. We didn't know, but we have depend so much on the white media to confirm things for us, i.e. TMZ. But when I saw it on Black No Chaser, it was still a rumor, but I was thinking, okay, this has to be official. I was hoping it wasn't the case, but it was just too far random for me to just brush it off. But yeah, man, Takeoff got killed. Takeoff got killed in Houston, Texas, from my understanding, at a bowling alley. Over, it had something to do with the dice game. It was over a dice game. That's exactly what happened. But man, subscribe. Let me get this out the way. Subscribe to youtube.com/ResView. Also, if you're watching this on Facebook right now, go ahead, hit that share button, hit that like button, comment. Feel free to comment because I want to just get this off my heart today because I'm a part of the culture and I've been a fan of culture. I've been a fan of hip hop all my life. I'm a hip hop baby. I was born into it, but there's been too many deaths within the last 4 to 5 years of some of our great rappers, man. Some of our dope rappers, a part of the culture. And the thing is, we have to ask the question, what are we going to do about it? That's the big thing. But the topic that I wanted to talk about, because I saw a lot of stuff going on with Takeoff regarding his death. So my question is, in the title, it says right here, was it senseless gun violence or rap music to blame for Takeoff's death? Was it senseless gun violence or rap music to blame for Takeoff's death? Or we could say the culture. Which one was it? Because the first thing I was seeing was people criticizing, oh, this happens to us. We need to change the content of our music and all that, which is true. But then the other side was the gun violence. Gun violence has been a big thing in the black community because we do kill each other, just like other race groups do. But it seems like in in rap, in hip hop, we've lost so many rappers. Like, back in the 90s, we lost a couple of rappers, but it wasn't at an alarming rate. So thing is, let's just walk briefly through what happened. Now, from my understanding, from what was being reported, it was over a dice game. First thing I'm going to say about is this: dice games can be very, very dangerous. If you are from the hood, if you from the ghetto, or you just know about it in the black community, you know how, you know, that game of dice. You've heard about it. I can be honest. I've heard about people getting killed over a game of dice. And the first question people were asking, they were just like, why was he playing or rolling dice in the first place? That is a good question to ask. And I don't want to take time criticizing the victim in this case, but it does want you to ask, if you are millionaire status, if you are in a different tax bracket, why would you be illegally gambling out in the public like that at the bowling alley instead of a casino? You know, um, I've like I said, if you come from a certain type of environment, a certain type of community, you know how crazy it can get. Now, the thing is, you have to be wise, right? If I'm in a different tax bracket, if I'm a millionaire, and if you want to roll dice, by all means, go ahead and do it. But why not roll dice with other millionaires, other people that are in the same tax bracket as you? Will they be mad? Yes, right. But will you have more of a chance of living because they have a lot to lose, and if they lose something, their family will lose something, and their wealth could be gone, and then it's jail and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. So I would rather roll dice with them in a safe environment, like, or going to the casino. The casino is legal gambling with surveillance cameras everywhere. Now, I know it's a situation, I'm not going to say who or where, but there was somebody who shot and killed somebody at a casino not too long ago, and they went to jail. So I would feel safer doing that, going into casino. But it makes you wonder. And I've seen different videos of Migos, like Offset. I've seen them gambling, you know what I'm saying, rolling dice and things like that on the streets and everything. But that's dangerous. It is dangerous. If you're gambling with somebody that has more to lose than you, people are not going to be happy about losing money, man. So you have to move differently when you have a lot of money. Now, I'm not in Takeoff's pockets, but from my understanding, if you go to his net worth, I think he's at least worth a couple of million. So you just have to be wise about that. Be wise who's in your entourage and everything, which goes back to, the story of what happened. So from my understanding, Quavo got into it with someone over a game of dice. I don't know if he was losing or the other person was losing, but they got into it, got into a scuffle. There's footage out there of it right now of some type of exchange going on. And you hear Quavo say something about, ain't nobody trying to play no basketball, whatever, whatever. And then it's a scuffle. And then you hear gunshots and you can see Takeoff fall, right? So someone allegedly, I'm saying allegedly because I don't know the official details, but allegedly someone from the Migos camp shot recklessly and killed Takeoff. Someone from the Migos camp killed Takeoff. This wasn't the opposition. This wasn't the people that they got into it with. It was a scuffle, but from my understanding, someone from the Migos camp shot and killed Takeoff. Allegedly. Allegedly. Now there's a video floating around, and plenty of footage of Takeoff that's on the ground. And I don't suggest that you go see it unless you want to, if you can handle graphic videos and stuff like that, which I'm going to get on later about us filming everything, recording it. But yeah, man, if you look at the video, Takeoff, after they laid him down, you can see blood everywhere. And it looks like nothing was on his face. It looks like it was coming from the back of his head, which means that somebody behind them was busting real quick and tried to shoot whoever it was. So in case this is in actuality, in case this is someone who is, I'm figuratively speaking, I'm saying allegedly. I got to be careful with it because we still don't know what officially happened. But if it is somebody from the crew, why would you pull out your gun and just start shooting? They got into this scuffle. And my thing is, you have racist people out. Well, I'm not even going to bring that out. You got real ops of black people. I'll say that. Real ops of black people that get into it with us and guns aren't drawn. But when it comes to each other and we get into a squabble or whatever, there's guns drawn. If you go look at that video, there was really no reason to pull out your pistol or whatever it was. My observation of it, I'm thinking whoever was in Migos entourage already had their hand on their gun, trying to protect them or whatever, but shooting recklessly, right? I don't know if the opposition, I don't know if the people that they were getting into it with actually had guns. None of us know anything as of yet. But maybe the person in the Migos entourage was gripping their pistol tight just to make sure that they were protected and wanted to shoot first. But you have to be careful with things like that, because the result of you pulling out your gun, you ended up killing a member of your entourage, which was probably paying you, right? You kill somebody in your camp and you shoot other people. From my understanding, it was two other people that got killed, that didn't get killed, but they got non-life-threatening injuries and went to the hospital. But you pulling out your gun and shooting randomly did more hurt. You didn't even shoot the ops, if they are the ops. But the big thing is, why did a gun have to be drawn out in the first place? If you were going to get into a fight, I'd much rather you fight than kill. This is ridiculous. Now, the thing is, even if you did, say if Takeoff didn't get killed, you drawing your gun out and shooting, you would have hurt somebody or killed somebody. Now you were going to jail anyway. So now it could be a double charge because you accidentally killed somebody. And what were you pulling out the weapon for? What were you shooting for? Could be attempted murder. Senseless. So the question is, was this senseless gun violence or rap music to blame? Because a lot of people were blaming rap music. Now, do I feel like we need a reset in hip hop culture when it comes to rap music and violence and all that? Absolutely. But if you ask me, this was senseless gun violence. Now, Takeoff, they were talking about how rappers rap about violence and all that, this other stuff, right? Now, I'm not a solid fan of the Migos music, but I have listened to a lot of their records. And from my understanding, they don't talk about a whole bunch of shooting, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, gang, gang type of stuff. They're more of the like the flashy, flossy type of rappers. They talk about drugs and stuff like that, but not really the violence, hyper violent stuff that you hear out here, especially Takeoff. I don't hear Takeoff. I never heard Takeoff really talk like that. He don't have songs called 9mm, My Glock. You know, he probably has been featured on there or maybe have a song or two, but when I think of Takeoff, I don't hear that from him. So I don't think rap music necessarily has anything to do with this particular death. I think it's senseless gun violence. What happened to just fighting it out? And you have to look at it. It is over a dice game, but how did it lead up to this? You have to ask yourself, was it worth it? You know, and I'm quite sure Quavo is going through it right now, but it looks like he was the one that got into it. From my understanding, Takeoff doesn't have that type of reckless behavior. He always seems to be kind of cool and laid back. But this is an innocent person that got caught in a crossfire, allegedly from somebody in his own camp. And you see the video of Quavo crying and everything, but you have to ask yourself, and I know Quavo was doing this, was it worth it for me getting into it? Was it worth it for us to be playing a dice game, rolling dice at a bowling alley? When things like this happen and you see your partner on the ground, his nephew on the ground, I know it has to go through his head. Was this all worth it? Could it have been different? Because this was in my head the whole day. Because I'm just imagining, man, this man is 28 years old, no kids. He doesn't have a legacy. From my understanding, I don't think he has any kids, but he doesn't even have a legacy to leave behind. Had his life ahead of him in a different tax bracket. Most of us dream about being in that tax bracket, right? And you see young brothers like him out here at least making decent music for us to vibe to. But this senseless gun violence, somebody from his camp automatically pulls out a weapon and just starts shooting. And you have to ask yourself, was it worth it getting into it with those people, whoever it was? Now, I'm just speaking based off of what the information that I've gathered. I don't know officially what it is, but we really have to ask ourselves, when you're in public, can you get out of situations that could cause harm to your life? Now, I understand. Look, I'm a gun carrier as well. You never know what can happen, but this was over a game. And if you ask me, I think that this could have definitely been avoided. But I know you have to look at that video and just, or if you've seen the footage, you see the pictures, you just say, man, like, what was this really over? You know, with Nipsey, RP to Nipsey, we knew that it was another gang member, a fellow gang member of his, who, you know, I have my own beliefs on actually what happened before the story we were presented with. He was jealous of Nip, or Nip called him out and he ended up coming back and killing him, right? He felt like he had a reason to actually do it. With PNB Rock, senseless gun violence, he came in, he got robbed. But with Takeoff, they were just out on Halloween night at a private event, and then he ends up just getting killed. Just think to yourself, like, man, we wake up every day and we don't know when this is our last day. But you don't think, when I go to this party, when I go to this bowling alley, like on a Halloween night, that this, I'm going into this type of stuff, right? And it just really upsets me. It really upsets me that this type of stuff happens to us all the time. And it's not just with Takeoff. How many of y'all in the comment section have heard about this or witnessed it or been a victim of it yourself? Glad that you're here to tell about it. But, you know, being around dice games are dangerous anyway, especially in hood areas, right? But it's dusty Negroes out here that will pull out their guns real fast just to prove that they're tough, prove that they hard. And a lot of this could be the blame on what rap music has become. But my thing is this, it's more so, I look at it as senseless gun violence. Me and one of my homeboys were talking today, and it's a lot of choppers on the streets. You know what I'm saying? AK-47s and a whole bunch of dudes got machine guns nowadays. Back then, you didn't have easy access to all that, but everybody has a Draco. Everybody has that nowadays, and it's so much of a I'm tough culture out nowadays. When you go look at the video that TMZ shared of Quavo, and they were talking about something, and then he was like talking about basketball. You heard the conversation about basketball, and Quavo walking off like, I ain't finna try. I'm gonna have to hurt somebody. I'm gonna have to hurt somebody. And then you hear the other dude saying, you ain't gonna hurt nobody. Get into a squabble, and then pop. You see Takeoff kind of falling to the ground. But what's to blame for it? Because we can criticize rap music just like we can criticize movies, we can criticize TV shows and everything like that. But I think this was just an act of senseless gun violence at the end of the day. Norman, shout out to Norman. You say I blame niggas. Hey, man, this is exactly what it is. But it's so unfortunate because somebody like Takeoff, a lot of people were saying, man, he was my favorite Migos member and everything like that. And dude could rap, you know, 28 years old, gone. But I think that we need to fix this senseless gun violence, because when you got a gun, everybody feels like that's the first result to go to something. Why couldn't it have been a fight if it's going to be that? I don't know what happened. I just see different clips and everything like that. But why did it have to result to that? We have to really ask ourselves this question, because I'm not going to point the blame solely on rap music, because their type of music, that Migos music, really isn't like what people be talking about when it's talking about rap violence. Like I said, man, they remind me more of like that bling bling Cash Money era. Now, is violence talked about a little bit? Yeah, but Migos are from Gwinnett County, man. And that is like the suburbs and outside in the outskirts of Atlanta. I know they talk about trapping and all that stuff in the kitchen, but nah, man. Migos, I'm not trying to call them lame, corny, and nothing like that, but just regular dudes. Regular dudes. Now, a lot of us have, you know, been around the hood or have ties to the hood or whatever like that. But these weren't these street thugs that you see. They weren't on their records rapping necessarily about murder. and all that. The most they were doing was talking about, like the regular drug stuff and all that, but it's a lot about flashy. If you hear Migos rap, man, it'd be a lot of like random stuff that they really talk about, you know what I'm saying? But it's mostly about having a good time with them. So, I can't put it on their music that brings this type of drama. But what I can say is, judging from what I've seen before from like the BET Awards, how they handled that Migos, they got into it with Chris Brown. Y'all remember that backstage? They were walking around like the NWO. They got into it with Joe Budden and all this fighting and stuff. And it's okay to not have to be a tough guy. You don't have to prove anything, especially if you have money. You don't have to do that. It's okay to not be a tough guy. You have security. You got a lot of money. You shouldn't be in an environment. If I'm going to a bowling alley, I shouldn't be rolling dice out there. I'm going to take my ass to the casino or do it in the comforts of my own home where I'm safe, or do it with other people who have a lot of money. Because if I'm rolling dice with dudes, if I'm a millionaire and I'm rolling dice with dudes who make like 40K a year, 50K a year, or if they street dudes, they can make a lot of money. But if they lose $7,000, that is a lot for them. Affects their livelihood versus me being a multimillionaire. If I lose 7 bands, that ain't nothing. I could go do a show and get that money, or I have other investments to give me that money. But gambling, if this is true, what it was, gambling at a bowling alley at a private event, man, that shouldn't have went down. You have to move better when you're in different tax brackets to avoid situations like this. Shout out to everybody for watching right now, man. We're really talking about this senseless gun violence and rap music. Let me know if you're watching. Share it on Facebook. Subscribe to youtube.com/ResView. We're having a heavy discussion, but let me know, what do y'all blame this on? Is it the senseless gun violence or the rap music? Now, what I can say about this is the hip hop culture, as far as rap music goes, it does need a reset in content, since we're talking about it, because, even though I'm blaming that on gun violence, there's a lot of gun violence and a lot of drugs being promoted in rap music. And music is very effective and it is powerful. So I do think it is affecting our youth and it is affecting people to want to be tough, but we got to point fingers at other things as well. But out of everything right now, it's hard for me to listen to street rap. I'm at a point right now where I want to listen to just conscious music to make me feel good, things like that, man. Because it's out of hand. And I do think that we do need a reset. Now, this goes and brings up this question right here. I've seen people talk about this, man. It's dangerous to be a rapper. Is it dangerous to be a rapper? Let me know in the comments what y'all feel. Shout out to Twan Perkins. Shout out to my brother Jordan. Shout out to everybody watching right now. Is it dangerous to be a rapper? What do y'all think? In my opinion, I don't think it's dangerous to be a rapper. I don't think it's dangerous to be a rapper. I think it's dangerous to have certain content in your rap music. I think it's dangerous to be a street rapper or a gangster rapper or a trap rapper. I think that's dangerous, whatever you put in your music. Now, if you're a street rapper that talks about like Lil Baby, for example. Lil Baby, from my understanding, I'm not a big Lil Baby fan, right? I don't listen to all Lil Baby stuff, but I don't hear a lot of that gun talk, a lot of that negativity when it comes. It sounds like he raps about what he came from and how he got out of it and celebrating life, from my understanding, right? Versus, these drill music rappers, they rap about that violence. So you create this negative type of aura and image that's going to come around, because these dudes will test you in the streets. If you rap about shooting and killing and selling drugs and I'm hard, I'm this and I'm that, then certain people will try you when you go into their city, because we have a messed up mentality of checking in. You got to check into this city, but you ain't gonna make Taylor Swift check into her city. Or if Taylor Swift or Justin Timberlake comes into your town, do you make them check in? This whole culture that we have of no fly zone, checking in. And I can tell you this, the state of Texas, like Dallas and Houston, has becoming like it's competition with California, because California is notoriously known for the deaths of rappers. It's like a graveyard for rappers. Man, Texas is not too far behind it. Texas is damn sure not too far behind it, because it feels like they're in competition with each other. But I don't think it's counterproductive to tell these kids to not want to be a rapper. I would say to the children, yes, because you can see that you can make a living off of rap, making millions of dollars. Hip hop music is the most lucrative music on planet Earth. Always has been, right? The most popular art form. Hip hop culture is, but rap music is big. So to tell someone to not do it because they think it's dangerous, no, rap is not dangerous. What you put in your rap music is dangerous. And it's not just about violence, it's about drugs as well, because that's killing us as well. And I'm going all the way back into the 90s, sipping lean, sipping syrup. RIP to Fat Pat, RIP to DJ Screw, RIP to Pimp C allegedly. I think it was some funny business behind that. But it's a lot of rappers who, like Juice World, you know, who've died off of overdosing, and some of them had seizures, like Lil Wayne and Rick Ross. So promoting this drug use that Future does, because Future, I look at you, brother. You know, Future, I love Future's music, but promoting popping mollies and sipping on lean and stuff like that, that's cancer to us too in the Black community. So it's not just the gun violence, it's about the drug use too. So it's not dangerous to be a rapper, because I don't want you to get this out of context. It's dangerous what you put in your music. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's a good question. So Antoine Perkins, shout out to you, man. You said, why aren't female rappers getting killed? Because if you look, female rap is some of the purest form of rap music that we have right now. Look at it. Look at Glorilla, right? Glorilla is just really talking shit on her records. Like that braggadocious type of rap, right? Not really violence, you know what I'm saying? Not no drug use, not popping a pussy, none of that. Glorilla is just speeding and spitting, and it could be deemed as street, but it's hard hitting music, that motivational, you can't fuck with me music. That's what I like about Glorilla. No auto tune. If we talk about creativity, ain't no auto tune, no singing. She's just getting straight to it. Female rappers are sampling records like City Girls. Now they talk about scamming and all this other stuff, but they go back and sample records. It's not dangerous music. Now it promotes some of the thought culture out here that can poison the minds of our little girls, but you know, that can be handled, I feel like. But the violence, I don't really hear City Girls and Lotto and Megan Thee Stallion talking about whooping women's ass, whooping other bitches' asses and shit like that. I don't really hear that from them. Now, I'm not saying they don't rap about that at all, but that's not the forefront of it. They just be spitting about whole shit. Sometimes it's whole shit, scamming niggas, whatever, right? But that's the reason that female rappers aren't getting killed. It's not that negative, or like if Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi, she's in a gang allegedly, like with the Bloods or whatever. But Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, help me name some other ones. Lotto. If they come into a city, it ain't gonna be no other females that try them, typically, right? Because for one, I would hope they have security, and for two, their content isn't that violent type of rap. They're really just having a good time. Now, a lot of us critique it, don't like what they're doing, but I mean, shaking your ass versus popping pills and using drugs and using guns, rapping about guns and all this other stuff, or rapping about the deaths of other rappers, smoking Tuka and all this other stuff, the same stuff that y'all get mad about Charleston White for pointing out. I'd rather a woman rap about twerking and how many niggas she fucking than that. That's what I'd rather worry about. Excuse my language. I don't want my video to not be able to receive monetization. YouTube. My bad about that. But I much rather that. Male rappers are the only. I'm reading my brother Jordan's comments. Some of y'all on YouTube ain't gonna be able to see it because I got to figure out how to share it all together. But my brother said male rappers are the only entertainers that consistently die on some hood shit. Like you work to get out the situation, so why go back into the element? Absolutely, absolutely. You work so hard, you spend time even when you were in the drug. If you sold drugs, you got out of that. That's why Lil Baby is the perfect example of what you should inspire to be, not the baby, because he's a ticking time bomb. I've made several videos about him, right? But Lil Baby carries himself in a certain type of way. Now, like I said, I'm not a big fan of his music, but I'm a fan of how he conducts himself. Positive. It's positive, positive, positive. Even if you don't like his music, he's not doing the same stuff. He's telling street tales, street stories about what he used to do, right? But it's not the same as these other drill music rappers or these wannabe hard rappers. Because more than likely, like with this Quavo situation, man, Quavo and Takeoff. If you look at the video, you see it's Takeoff in the back, Quavo in the front, being on some hard shit. And the result of that, if you walk around and carry that around you and have to be tough guy, it'll be situations like that. But this wasn't even the effect of that in particular. Somebody from their camp allegedly shot them. Somebody from their camp. So you got to imagine how Quavo feels right now to see how terrible that was, to see your nephew on the ground. And allegedly, if Quavo started it, was the result of it. So I hope everybody can get something from this at the end of the day, man. It's not worth it. It's really, really not worth it. I do think that we need a big reset. We need a big reset in how we think. And I don't like to make these videos just to be like pointing the fingers and everything like that, because everybody gonna say the same thing. What can we do to make a change? What can we do to make a change? But seriously, we need to reset our minds. We have a bigger enemy out here. What I don't understand is like how we're so quick to pull a gun on each other, but these ops, and y'all know what the clear ops that I'm talking about, they come to us on some rah-rah shit. We won't be willing to go to jail over that. Racist people coming to us, and I'm not condoning violence, but racist people coming to us. You see dudes knocking them out on camera. You see dudes physically assaulting them on camera. But in a situation like this, somebody that looks like you're quick to pull the gun out. Now, if somebody that looks like you come up and try to rob you and try to cause harm to your family, by all means, like I said, I'm a gun carrier. I get it. But in this scuffle, in this situation, this didn't look like it would need any of that. And the result is we have a talented artist that got his life taken away. But you have to be careful out here. Again, these dice games, they are dangerous. They can be very, very dangerous, man. You hear about it all the time. That's why when I heard about it was over a dice game, I wasn't really surprised by that event actually happening, but I was surprised that it happened to be Takeoff for sure. Shout out to Trio 301 TV, man. Shout out to you, man. Finally, you caught my live. Finally, you caught it. But yeah, man, we're talking about this. Is like a lot of people have been criticizing the rap music. I'm not gonna put it on the rap music in this Quavo case. I'm just putting it on senseless gun violence. You also have to be careful about who you move with. If I'm a millionaire and I know that it's hot heads in my crew, you gotta go, bro. You gotta go. I'd rather hire professional security, off-duty policemen, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't want hot heads in my crew because I don't know if this was an actual hothead that actually committed this act. But guess what? He was gonna go to jail anyway. I don't even know if it was a he, she, whatever, right? Figuratively speaking, let's say it was a he. You pull your gun out, say if you didn't shoot Takeoff, you didn't shoot Quavo, nobody. You ended up shooting somebody else. So Quavo and Takeoff would have been in trouble anyway. Somebody from the entourage actually shot somebody and killed them on the other side. So either way, this was a dumb move to make, man. And it just don't feel real. Like Takeoff and Quavo just put out an album. They just put out an album, was doing heavy press on Drink Champs and I think they were on Breakfast. When they on Breakfast Club, they were just everywhere, man. And this happens. Like it's unreal. And the most sad part, right, is the Migos broke up. There was some riff rap between Offset and the Migos, and we don't know officially what happened because they kind of been, keeping their mouth closed on it. But now there won't ever be another Migos. If they did have an actual issue with Offset, it won't be resolved because all three of them aren't together anymore. And it's a big deal when you have smaller groups. For example, there will never be another UGK because we lost Pimp C. If Outkast, God forbid, if one of them went away, we won't never have an Outkast, right? With Wu-Tang, it was so many of them. So when we lost ODB, we still had all the rest of the living members. But with Migos, one of them get killed and it's two left. And they weren't getting along. But due to someone in the entourage, we'll never be able to see the Migos together again. Sad, sad, sad situation. You say you rarely hear an athlete, singer, or a dancer down on some hood stuff. Exactly, man, because typically when you're the thing is, when you're an athlete, singer, and I'll start with an athlete, right? You're going to be around professionalism mostly. See, rap, you become a character. You become a character because think about it. You don't go by your name like me. Some of y'all know my actual name. Some of the redheads may not know it, but Facebook, y'all know my actual name. But J Red is me, but that's a stage name. That's a stage name. That's not my actual name. But the difference between me and these other rappers, I don't fake like who I am. But say if my name was Lil Kill or something like that, right? I would have to live up that image because that's my stage name. So I'm going to live it up by being around other dudes who may be street, other dudes who carry pistols, all that, just to keep my image up, to look cool, to play into my character, versus an athlete like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Russell Wilson. These are their actual names, so it ain't no tough guy image to go around. And see, with music anyway, with rap music in particular, you're writing it mostly, right? And you have to perform it. See, with singing, you just sing who you are. You sing it based off of what somebody else wrote, more than likely, unless you wrote it. But it's not a character that you have to play. It's just you have to have a vocal presentation. With hip hop, you have to personify and paint an image of who you are, right? That's typically what you have to do. You have to perform it. You have to perform when you're a singer too, but more so with rap because you got to put character up in there. So that's why you have to, no athletes or other type of entertainers, no actors or whatever. Like Denzel, he played the guy on Training Day, right? He doesn't have to be Alonzo in Training Day everywhere he goes. Now you see him and you be like, oh, I love when you play that, but he doesn't have to be Alonzo everywhere. And see, that's what RIP, what happened with Tupac. I feel like Tupac was trying to be Bishop everywhere he went. And you see how quickly he ended, man. Unfortunate. But yeah, man, it's sad. Other people in other race groups, you don't hear this happening in R&B. You don't hear this happening in country, rock. The most you hear in rock or whatever, they may overdose on something or, may commit suicide or something like that. But rap music or the hip hop culture, you see this happening all the time. And it's too many deaths, man. Too many. This Takeoff thing really, really blew my mind. It blew my mind today. That was the last person because he was such a laid back dude. So that's the last thing that we expected. But again, I don't think that it's dangerous to be a rapper. I think that it's dangerous because we're switching topics real quick because the whole is it ain't safe. Rap is the hardest job. Kendrick Lamar ain't getting shot at. J. Cole ain't getting shot at. Talib Kweli ain't getting shot at. Hell, Kanye crazy ass ain't getting shot at. but look at the type of music that they make. Now you've had artists like Snoop Dogg, a lot of rappers from the 90s who used to rap about stuff like that. They don't rap about that no more because you grow out of that mentality. You see what happens. You get locked up like C Murder. You know, you get locked up like other people like Boosie, different people like that. But you know, it's just a different age nowadays, man. Everybody has access to more guns, way more than before. And it's a tough guy image nowadays because you know what? The camera is out. Back then, there weren't any cameras, so you didn't really, you know, if you were a studio gangster, you would only have to be a studio gangster half the time. I mean, you would only have to do that, like just that image, that gangster image. You only have to do that half the time because there weren't cameras everywhere. You could go to Whataburger, get you a burger, somebody see you up in there, you be like, hey, whatever. They'll be like, yeah, Jay Red was a regular person when I saw him. But if you got your cameras out and stuff like that, they know you got social media. So you got to act hard. Oh, you can't test me. You can't do that. Now, there's nothing wrong with defending yourself, protecting your family. But these days, man, it's wild. It's wild. Again, if you're joining in, subscribe to youtube.com/ResView if you haven't already, and make sure that you share this on Facebook. How is Atlanta taking his death? Atlanta, I mean, of course, man, V103, all the radio stations been playing this stuff all day. You've had OGs like Timo Goody. He made an emotional video today crying about it. I've been kind of tapped out because I've just been trying to gather information for it. But if you look on it, man, like the city of Atlanta is hurting because they were from Gwinnett, but that's all like we all. I'm not from Atlanta, but if you live in even the outskirts, man, that's a part of Atlanta. Even though what's her name? Omeretta the Great State, that ain't Atlanta. They still repped Atlanta wherever they went. So the city is hurting, man. This death is like T.I. passing away, man. This death is like you know, pretty much any top dog in Atlanta. This is big because Quavo, I mean, Takeoff and Quavo, all of them were still out here making music, man. You know what I'm saying? When do you think we will hear from Quavo, man? As traumatic as that was, I don't know. We're in a social media age where people have to say something real fast and stuff, but I would hope that Quavo takes his time with it. That was his nephew. That wasn't just his rap partner. That wasn't just a rap member in the rap group. This was his nephew that he grew up with. If you see the pictures that they shared, because they shared them numerous times before the death, but I know he's taking it hard because allegedly this was his fault. Allegedly, from the stories that we're gathering. So you got to put yourself in his shoes. If you got into it with somebody over a dice game, you trying to be tough, and then the result is gunfire, and then your nephew that you grew up with gets killed, and you see that his body is on the floor, and it like describing the video, you could look at Takeoff's face and see that he was lifeless. His face changed colors. If you ever been to a funeral before, if you've seen a dead body, they turn pale, man. And that's what it looked like. That bullet killed him instantly. Instantly. And it was the back of his head. So somebody from behind had to shot him. I don't know if it was his head or his neck. Blood was everywhere. So I know Quavo is taking it hard, probably the hardest. Because like I said, Takeoff, from my understanding, didn't have a wife. I don't know if he had a girlfriend or whatever like that. I don't know his personal life, but I know he didn't have any kids. So yeah, man. I know Quavo. If I was him, I'd take my time, man. Like that's a traumatic experience. So I hope whenever we do hear from him that he takes his time and do it when he's ready. But man, like I said, I blame the senseless gun violence. Let's go back to the days of putting the gun down, fighting it out. Y'all niggas can't fight no more, man. Y'all can't fight. If you get your ass whooped, so what, man? Go back to it. Go back. Try again. Had to turn on my mic. I'm turning my mic up, but get your ass whooped. Go fight again. Lived again to fight another day. I know Pop said that from Friday, but serious, man. Back when I was growing up, that's what you did. You fought. The only time you would pull out, like if you gonna pull out, and there was senseless gun violence back then, but it's like right now, it's like that's the first thing the dudes do when they feel threatened, get jealous, or just whatever, man. And it's not. This isn't just even about Takeoff. RP to Trouble. that got killed, you know. RP to Nipsey, Mo 3, everybody that has been getting shot at, like Benny the Butcher had got shot. Boosie, didn't Boosie get shot in Texas? Like a lot of people have been getting shot and killed in Texas, man. You know, and we just got to cut this shit out, man. We got to cut it out. We got to cut it out. But I'm not going to solely blame this on rap music, not this particular situation, but we do need a reset in the hip hop culture. We need to switch up the content. I do agree with that wholeheartedly. Man, it's hard to even listen to that type of music anymore because not only am I older now, but it's just like that's not where we should be, man. We literally have opposition, our ops. We got racist race soldiers out here violently harming us and killing us and lynching us. Why are we so quick to point the trigger at each other rather than them? Not condoning any violence, not saying I want anybody to get shot, but I'm saying, damn, why not that instead of this? Will Offset and Quavo make a joint song and remember him? Yeah, I bet that's coming. Yeah, that'll come. I'm sure whatever beef that they had or any difference. I don't think they had a beef. You would know if it's a beef. I just think they had differences, business differences. They saying this over a woman. I don't know. One thing I respect about them is they've been remaining silent about their issues. So there, I would assume so that there will be some type of collaboration between Offset and Quavo in remembrance of Takeoff. And this is a big hit, man. Takeoff was the essence of the Migos. He's what you call the granddaddy of the Migos, man. When you think of people imitating Migos or trying to sound like Migos, you immediately think of Takeoff. Like that's what it is. Now Quavo did all the hooks mostly, but you think of Takeoff, his sound. Now that sound is gone due to senseless gun violence. So, man, if you get a lot of money, watch who you hang around. Don't hang around trigger happy people because bullets don't have a name on them. There's not a bullet, even if you write the name on it, you shoot it wrong because half of y'all don't be going to the damn gun range anyway and ain't precise. You shoot it, it could go anywhere and end up killing somebody. A loved one. A loved one, man. A loved one. Why don't we blame movies instead of music? I'm blaming movies too. It's just that it's an easy target. They've been blaming rap music since its beginning, but does that have something to do with what's going on right now? Absolutely. But we can point the fingers at movies too. You have a lot of action movies. You got video games like Grand Theft Auto. They're literally, what was the dude's name? Ezekiel something that was in Memphis going around shooting people, stealing cars and shooting people. Do you blame that on rap music or do you blame that on Grand Theft Auto? He was literally going Grand Theft Auto on everybody and looked insane when he was doing it. I think he had popped a drug. He was foaming out the mouth and stuff, but I think it's more than just hip hop music to blame or rap music to blame for it, right? I think it's movies, television, that all contains violence too. It's a lot of that and video games, right? But I also think it takes a person with their own mind as well, because I'm not going to sit and point at a rapper making violent music solely because I listened to violent music growing up and it didn't make me want to shoot or kill anybody. I played Grand Theft Auto all the time when I was growing up. Still to this day, I'll play it sometimes. That didn't make me want to go kill anybody. I've seen movies where, like, Set It Off, robbing banks to get money, selling drugs, watching Scarface. That didn't inspire me to want to do it. However, I do have an issue with rappers who glorify drugs, rappers who glorify violence, rappers who glorify gang life, gang culture. Now listen, I listen to all of that West Coast music and street music like the next person, man. But that didn't inspire me to do anything. And I think most importantly, we need to have of our families in place. Male and female, mom and dad, masculine and feminine energy. You need your daddy at home and you need your mama at home. It's too many dudes out here with daddy issues who don't have their father around. that were raised by their mothers and act emotionally. Let's talk about that. These dudes out here be acting emotionally, right? Getting trigger happy, getting into your feelings, just shooting. That is not a masculine trait. You're supposed to think strategically. If I'm somewhere and there's a lot of people around and I have to be careful of my surroundings. If I pull out this gun, am I going to have an accurate aim if I'm going to shoot it? Will I cause harm to other people if I pull out the gun? Will other people pull out their guns on me and cause hurt or death to my loved ones that are around me? You have to think strategically and not think off impulse. A lot of these dudes are thinking off impulse because if there is a situation that you're getting into it with, again, go watch the video on your own. Is there a way to diffuse it? Was it that serious? Could you have avoided it? A lot of dudes out here are raised by these single mothers. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, single mothers. And I'm not blaming the mothers, but they don't have a sense of masculine energy to think strategically. They don't have enough testosterone to think on a higher level and think off impulse. That's not what a real man does, man. That's not what that is, man. It's a lot of dudes out here that have no guidance, no direction, and you do stupid, senseless stuff like this, man. And it's the result of a talented artist that's gone. And now we do the same thing. I'm tired of making these videos about rappers getting killed, man. Or not just a rapper, that was a black man getting killed. So I'm not one of those black on black crime type of dudes criticizing just the black community. Well, the white folks do stuff to us, but we do stuff to each other. Listen, I'm here to just say that we can control our situation. We are in control. We can be in control, but we have to think strategically and get our families. I think it's very important to have structured households. But that's another topic, man. But will death change hip hop? No, because when you think about it, there have been enough deaths to actually do it. But what happens? We make all these videos, say RP Quavo, RP Takeoff, sorry. We make a mural and then go back to our regular schedule programming. That's what happens. It's the same repeated cycle. You know, we mourn them, say we need to change, we need to do better, all this other stuff. So I think that, like I said, I think it goes to parenting as well. I think that we have more structured households, especially black households, right? I think that we'll have better balanced men and women. And not only will it help decrease the violence, but it'll help the economy as well. With two incomes combined, two senses of energy combined to create a well-balanced individual for society. That's what I feel. Because I had both parents. Now, I didn't grow up with both parents in the household completely, but I had both parents around to where I had some discipline to do better. And the result is me and none of my brothers ever even been in jail, right? We've got into some stuff that I won't speak on, but we ain't ever went to jail. And we all college graduates, all, excelling doing our thing. But we had a balance. We had a father that at least we knew who he was and he was active. Even though we didn't, I grew up in a single parent home, but I think that if we all are together and work as a community, that we'll be better off. But as far as deaths changing hip hop, I don't know, because it's not changing it so far. Not changing it so far. But yeah, man, it's too many out of control dudes out here, man. And it feels like the females are the ones that are keeping it 100% thorough, even though they do rap about sex and they glorify sex a lot, and that has a lot to do with it. But like, poison in the minds of our daughters and women. But I'd rather deal with that because death won't come from that. I feel like we can get a hold of that. But this other stuff, man, we got to cut it out. If you're watching right now and you're not a subscriber, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. Make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, man. What was your favorite Takeoff song, Migos song, Takeoff song? What was your favorite, man? For me, Bad and Bougie, I'm a fan of that Hotel Lobby song that they put out. Handsome and Wealthy, Versace. I love playing their records as a DJ, man. Like Migos were a dope group, man. Dope group as far as continuous hits. I've had my criticism about their albums and the content and the music they make as far as like what they talk about. But what I can say is that they weren't spreading the negativity that we see in rap. As far as like they talked about some stuff, but the whole, the gang violence and all that other stuff, they weren't rapping about that. They were more entertaining rappers than anything. So yeah, man. Absolutely, Twan Perkins, man. No, you already know I'm gonna be making these, and I can go live on Facebook again. The reason I hadn't been live on Facebook in a while is because they suspended my account for 30 days off a Jeffrey Dahmer video that I shared. It, it was public information, so it got like 1 million views. It was crazy, but yeah, man. But that's my take on it, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Hit that fire emoji if you're watching right now to let me know that you're in here. Make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. Also, follow me on social media so you can stay updated at JAYR3D. Also, if you're feeling generous, donate to the Cash App. That helps the content creators out outside of the monetization on YouTube. So if you want to contribute, it could be $4, $5, $50, $100. $JAYR3D. Support the show, support the channel, man. If you support me, you can donate so we can do more stuff for the show, man. $JAYR3D. Support the show. Follow me again at JAYR3D on all social media platforms. Man, hopefully, I don't know what'll happen after this, but details are still scarce. We're still getting reports coming in. But big RIP to Takeoff. Out of everything, RIP to Takeoff. Rest in paradise. Condolences, my deepest condolences to his family, including Quavo, Offset. Can't imagine what they're going through right now. Easier said than done, but it's like I'm sending nothing but love, positivity, healing energy that way, man. This is J Red, Reds View, signing out.